Hi guys, this is Breaker and I am back with another replay from the front page of Drop.sc. This one's going to be between a barcode and a guy whose name is Huangxin if you read it backwards. I elected to go ahead and download this one because I thought it would be of a caliber that is comparable to, say, Korean GSL Code S quality, if that makes sense, or maybe more appropriately Code A. I think it would be a much more accurate statement, but here we are. I'm at the loading screen right now, and it looks like XSplit is not cooperating with me yet again. Alright, so here we are in the upper left-hand corner, spawning as our red Protoss. His name is niSgnawH, or Huangxin if you read it backwards. And he belongs to Qntc. Looks like a legit tag, although I can't say personally myself I know whether it is or not. I don't really pay attention to the pro team's in-game tags, if you will. And in the lower right-hand corner, spawning as our blue Terran, he is simply a barcode. And the map we are on today is going to be Akilon Wastes, and I've got a feeling that this is going to be good, but I want you guys to go ahead and forgive me because right now I did just wake up, and I'm going to try and... what's the word I'm looking for? I want to try and sip on this Monster Rehab, which is just a good way of waking up. It's kind of like having energy tea. It's like energy tea with just a teeny bit of sugar added in and a lot of caffeine, taurine, ginseng, and all that stuff your brain needs to help you start thinking. In other news today, I'm really excited for everything that's going on in the China scene. Of course, there's the NEST, which is going to be a 600,000 RMB, Chinese renminbi tournament, equal to about more or less 100,000 US dollars, but nonetheless, we actually see the government stepping it up. This is actually the first time I think the government has actually gotten in directly and sponsored a tournament. All the other ones before this have been sponsored basically by, I'm trying to think, multi-million-dollar corporations in China that started their own hardware companies that frolicked domestically within the People's Republic of China. So I kind of feel like this is a bit of a step in the right direction, but you know, there's other things that tax-paying dollars can go to work on, just those kinds of things. But I won't give too much. I won't give too much of my insight into that. It's an esports event. I think it's going to be international. I think they're going to invite lots of players, and I think it's going to be good altogether. Like, who could absolutely hate that? Okay, so double gas down for Huangxin before we see a cybernetics core. That could mean, I think we're just going to see a sentry expand. And we have our barcode going with a Reaper opening. He's floating-ish a teeny bit of gas. And I think he's going to try and start an expo pretty soon, as we do see him getting close to the 400 mineral mark. Not pulling anything to throw down a factory just yet, and there it is. We have an SCV headed out to the natural. Reactor going down just before that. Command center at the natural, and he's just going to go straight for it. Now, I do just want to give you guys a pretext that I know if someone's using a barcode event or barcode name, it does not simply mean that they are Korean. I've seen Maximus Black using a barcode before. I've seen some Western players using barcodes before. I've beaten one barcode player before, and that just totally tripped me up, but I won't let it go to my head. It could just simply be someone who's trying to hide their identity in Starcraft 2 and doesn't want to get stream sniped or something like that. They could have a small fan base, if you will, or something of that nature. And altogether, if I was going to try and do something like that, I would simply just put my stream on a 2-minute delay. Alright, so the Reaper did try to go up into the main. It did just get shot at a couple times, and here we are. Oh boy, this is pretty risky from Huangxin. If this is going to be what I think it's going to be, oh man, then there's a lot of potential yield for return. There's a lot of potential yield for failure. There's a lot of potential for everything to happen here. Alright, so the Reaper's going back home, and we do have a couple of Stalkers here. I don't see a Dark Shrine on the way, so this is just looking like it's going to be some kind of a Blink Stalker contain. Or maybe even some aggression. He does have the Robo Bay on the way to kind of get the, what's the word I'm looking for, the Observer out just a little bit faster, to say the very least. Pulling on my jacket, it's just a teeny bit chilly in my dormitory right now. And we are just going to wait for both players to build up their game, but wait. The Reaper, it's just, I don't know, we don't see our Terran actually able to see what our Protoss is doing just yet, but maybe that's about to change. He does see that there's a huge lack of buildings here, but there it is, the secret has been revealed. The Twilight Council is right there right now. And here we are. Everything's just kind of breaking away. Alright, so now we got bunkers going down in the main in various locations for our barcode. Because you can never be too careful. Yeah, that's right. Blink Stalkers. When you absolutely, positively gotta kill every other melon farmer in the room, there is no other. So now here we are. Stalker numbers building up in strength. But the Marine... Oh, is he gonna see any of this? Oh, jeez, I just failed so hard. Okay, well, not that hard, but... There we go. Does he see any of this? Does he see any of this? Does he see any of this? So much for wrecking the suspense, but there it is. The Stalkers actually found it, and... Now our barcode knows he's in a lot of trouble. Alright, so these bunkers back here, we've got... double tech lab, so that means we're gonna actually see, we're gonna see double the Marauder production and obviously a better chance at holding this for our barcode Terran than we will see for our red Protoss. What is he trying to do here? He's just trying to poke away at that, he's trying to poke away at that supply depot. It's not quite working out for him. And he's got some excellent micros, or so it seems. But right now he's just being super annoying, really, and he's taxing the APM of our barcode Terran, really. Alright, but behind this we actually see that he's going for a Robo Bay and a Nexus at the natural. So this is not an all-in, this is simply a contain. And I think if our barcode Terran is reading into this the right way, he's thinking, okay, well, why aren't the Stalker numbers increasing? Well, it's just very simple. He's not doing an all-in. So this is looking like it's one of those games of a caliber that we all love to watch. Interesting, the blue blood spattering from this Stalker all over the ground. Forward pylon taken down, but I really think this is a dangerous move by Huang Xin. He doesn't want to move up there. Oh man, but he's got vision then again from that observer. I was absolutely, I was really hesitant. I was thinking to myself, Huang Xin, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, bro. Making me nervous as a caster, just watching this and not knowing what's going to happen. Alright, so SCV is being pulled from the main, put on the natural, and I think... I'm pretty sure that Huang Xin saw that Congo line, but... it's just hard to say, really. Hard to verify. Okay, so now we got 2 Colossi going into the mix. And +1 ground attacks, +1 armor on the way. Concussive shells going down for Terran. And this game is starting to build itself up into something action-packed, as we do have our barcode now pushing his opponent across the map. Unfortunately, the observer was spotted and sniped, so that means we're going to have to see another one go down in production. But wait, we already have 2, so where's the second one? Alright, so it looks like, I think Huang Xin was accounting for losing that observer when he saw it. When he knew he was going to have to move it to basically get safety on his Stalkers, if you will. To basically spot for his Stalkers. Excuse me. Behind this we have Zealot legs going down. So that means we're going to see Zealots darting forward, possibly eating all of those Marines alive. Maybe the same for... Oh man, maybe the same for... I wouldn't say so much the Marauders, but the Marauders and their concussive shells are going to be able to stop the Zealots as they come towards them. And I feel as though Huang Xin is in a bit of trouble. He's only got... I wouldn't say it's just the fact that he's only got these gateway units here, but it's more over the fact that he doesn't, I think, have any force fields at home. Yes, look at this. The army supply right now, if we check it, is highly in favor of our Terran. The only problem is, again, he doesn't really have any of the hard counters it takes to deal with these Colossi. And conversely, we actually don't have any force fields coming from Huangxin. So I want to say that maybe, just maybe, if he had stemmed up and moved into that, it could have been over very quickly. Maybe. Maybe. Meanwhile, it looks as though Huangxin is being contained as our Terran is taking a third. And now the fourth Colossus is joining the fray. And we have 2 Vikings being made at a time. I'm more than likely willing to bet there's not already 2 out on the map. So these are going to be the first 2 virgin Vikings, if you will, ready to get their combat gear on and go to town on those Colossi. But behind this, we have a double medevac drop going down. The Observer is going to see both of them. And what is the reaction from Huangxin? Blink forward. Almost gets, well, takes one of those medevacs down to about half its HP. That's about it. Now, Huangxin, behind all this, it appears is he's slightly oversaturated, but that means he's going to continue to he's possibly going to continue to oversaturate and then take his third as quickly as he can. But something about this, the fact that we have more probes being made, so he's breaking down the rocks, so he's going to be taking an expo, or at least trying to. Alright, so probe has been cut onto by that Marine. The Zealots! Oh boy, everybody comes in just in time to save it when it was down to 1 shot. Oh, but look at this, look at this! The Stalker is waiting patiently for those medevacs. Ooh, one gets shot down without the Marines and Marauders getting a chance to land at all. That's just, oh man. Gonna have to send a propaganda letter from the Terran Dominion army to their wives and children saying they died heroes in the brave assault against the Protoss on Akilon. Oh boy. Continuing on with this, it appears that Huangxin is now going for Psystorm, and that's going to come in. That's going to come in a huge heap of help towards what he is dealing with here, in the form of his Terran barcode opponent's Bioforce as it is presently. And it looks like at the same time we got a drop going down that was thwarted here. In fact, our barcode was able to pick up everything at the same time, and this is exposing all of your Vikings. High Templars coming into the mix, but conversely, there are no EMPs coming from this main army. There are no ghosts. The Stalkers and the Zealots, they're coming into play too, but it looks like this Marine is going to pepper away that probe that was going to put down a 4th base. And I'm wondering, is this going to pull Huangxin's main army out of position? And now 3 bunkers are going down for our barcode. He's like, okay, great. I don't have what it takes to hold against this yet. I've got to buy time to get my ghosts out. He's got 2 seconds until the Ghost Academy is finished, but he doesn't have any favorable engagement points, at least not just yet. He could try and make, what's the word I'm looking for? He could try and make a concave right here and right now, and it would probably most likely favor him, but he'd have to spread everything so immaculately. He's not spreading anything whatsoever. The storms are going down, and they are beautiful. The Vikings are getting caught in all of those storms. And right now, it looks like they are probably going to take down 1 or 2 of those Colossi if they are lucky. But the rest of the Bio army on the ground is going to be left to deal with that as it stands. And they are doing a good job of mopping up the Stalkers on the ground, which are now preoccupied with them. 1 Archon, and now it looks like everything is 1 for 1, except the leftover units are the Colossi, and there's nothing here to defend them. There's just 1 Stalker. And a High Templar that's like, does anybody here have an energy drink? I need some Red Bull. Behind this, it looks like there was a medevac drop that took down some number of workers, which actually reduced the number of reinforcements for Huangxin just slightly. And if we check out the income for both sides, it's actually heavily in favor of our Terran, as it should be at this stage in the game. +3/+3 now going down for Huangxin behind this, but our barcode Terran is also going for his +3. I'm not sure what his armor upgrades are at. They're only at +2, so we're going to see Huangxin ahead in that regard for a while. And he's trying to put some hurt on here, but it's just a planetary fortress. Stalkers can't attack it without being attacked back. And, oh, man. Both armies eager to tango with each other. Now, you're probably asking yourselves, Hellbats, where are those in the mix right now? Well, they are kind of tanky, and they only cost minerals. So they are actually a good substitute to whatever you were cranking out as your main staple unit, be it Marines or otherwise. And it looks as though we're going to have a couple of Stalkers just blinking in here. And that is pulling the main army of our barcode to deal with it. But what is Huangxin going to try behind this? I was thinking to myself just a minute ago, he just completely exposed the natural. And as long as the main army is moving in that direction to deal with it, then he's going to be pretty okay. And now the High Templar are getting numerous. And it looks like each and every one of them has at least enough energy for one storm. So that's going to be a lot of trouble for our barcode to deal with, especially if it's all going to come down to landing those snipes and EMPs. And right now there's only 2 ghosts in the mix, and he's going to move straight out. I don't know if this is a safe move or not, really. Zealot caught on to that 5th base now, and Huangxin knows just what kind of trouble he's in. He's going to be on 4 base economy. He could take his own 5th right now, and that would probably be a wise move, but you know, we are actually getting into the late game right now, as both players are going to finish up their +3 upgrades. We're going to have Protoss shields level 1 going down right now. Which is probably the last thing you'd like to upgrade ideally versus Terran, because they have ghosts anyway, which EMPs deal with the shields optimally, is my understanding. Speaking of ghosts, one got loaded up into this dropship, and we apparently had our Huangxin give him the ditch. He's like, no, we need you with the main army. Yeah, no stealth missions for you today, bro. No Black Ops stuff. So scans going down on the main army of Huangxin. He's completely exposed, and it looks like, I want to say there was a storm that went down here just a minute ago, and I did miss it because of the sound that it made more than anything else. Medevac drop looks like it's ready to go down. I need to check up on the tech. There is no Dark Shrine, but I think that would be maybe a pretty okay addition. And now Photon Overcharge being activated on this Nexus in what is apparently the lower left-hand corner of the map. Photon cannons are going to be able to deal with that. No need to pull the main army out of position either. If these Marauders are trying to target down the High Templar, trying to be annoying, really. Those are expensive units, and if just 1 or 2 of them gets targeted down, then that's a lot of trouble. But wait, the ghosts are being pulled right now, and the EMPs go down. Beautiful storm on top of all that bio. Another scan going down, making sure that he can see the main army. There could be, there was another time when he could have stormed, and there it is, a beautiful storm yet again. No splits from our Terran whatsoever. I want to say it's extremely difficult to do that because, like, well, I play Zerg. The only thing we have to split for is splitting drones versus in the Ling Baneling engagements. That's about it. And then we have personal cloaking going down behind this. I'm wondering if we're going to see a nuke at all. Checking the units tab right now. It seems as though we have none whatsoever in the mix. And +3 infantry armor is on the way behind this. Looks like we're going to have another huge engagement here, and possibly in... I want to say that this could probably go either way, but right now we have SCVs being thrown away, trying to alleviate supply. Checking the army size right now, both players astoundingly even. We have a Stargate follow-up from all this as well. And a nuke. And wait, here we go. The huge engagement going down. The EMPs were just absolutely beautiful. The concussive shells chasing down all those Archons. And it looks as though the volleys from the Vikings are going to be too powerful. And now I'm thinking there's just... there's no room for EMPs here. Or excuse me, there's no room for storms here from our Protoss. But look at that. As I say that, a huge contingent of Terran gets caught out of position, and a storm goes down to deal with a great chunk of it. 2 observers here when one is more than ample to get vision. He's got vision just about everywhere on the map right now. This is pretty good for Protoss. I mean, Zergs have absolute map hegemony when they are looking for their opponent, or trying to keep tabs on their opponent. Oh, but look at this. double medevac drop going to the third. I'm thinking this could do a lot of damage. They're just out of range of those photon cannons. And if, I don't know, if photon overcharge were to go down on this third, then it would seal the deal. But, oh, there it is. Those are armored, those are armored units, and they actually deal out bonus damage to armored units. Those marauders, and it looks like nonetheless it got cleaned up. I was kind of worried there in the beginning. I really was. But that did get him some more workers killed. Brought it to 20. SCVs again being thrown away, trying to alleviate supply. Just, you know, throwing away those SCVs, making way for the late game. I think we're going to see... We're essentially going from the late game now to the late game. At the 30-minute mark, that's where it hits. But now we got medevac drops going down everywhere like wildfire. Our barcode is actually hard-pressed to find a point where he can actually directly engage his opponent. And Huang Sin's only got 2 High Templar with enough energy on them for storms. It looks like a warp in here is cleaning up that drop, and the Stargate that went down just a minute ago was actually taken down. I was thinking, are we going to see any kind of, you know, late game tempests or anything of that nature? And now here we are with the High Templar. Protoss shields level 3 on the way. So that means if we were to look at this from a convenience standpoint, or the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, the more upgrade worthy side of it, then if our Protoss was to start upgrading something soon next, it would more than likely be +1 air weapons. Yeah. And again, more SCVs being thrown away. This is going to make for a much larger army supply for our Terran than it will for our Protoss. And here we are, Command Center actually at the 12-ish position, getting sniped. If Huang Sin can assert his dominance over that, he will slowly but surely starve his opponent out of resources. Speaking of resources, he's got a ton of orbital commands. These Stalkers coming in here, blinking in, just getting in there. Both players trying to throw whatever harass they can at each other, and this medevac drop certainly not an exception. But if that reinforcing pylon gets taken down, I think that's going to be a little dangerous. Both players floating quite a large bank. Main army is being spotted right now, so we have to see Huang Sin engage this next round very carefully. There's, of course, I don't know, there's just an absolute surplus of energy on all these orbital commands, so it's just going to be no trouble keeping tabs on his opponent. Huang Sin doing what he can to annoy his opponent too with his harass. Look at that, 25 workers killed. But then again, like, if we're just to examine the workers killed, like, a good deal of them were actually just thrown away to alleviate supply. Alright, so here we are. Another drop, another medevac drop, and the fleet beacon's going down along with double warp prisms. This tells me that we could end up seeing maybe some kind of, and plus Protoss air weapons level 1 as well. Main army's going at it again. I'm thinking what we're going to see is probably some warp prism run-bys full of High Templars, and oh, where are the storms when you need them? There's still an observer in the mix. He's going to be just fine with that. Storms not going down in the most efficient manner possible, but they are keeping the main army from engaging directly. Some of the Vikings hot out in that, and it looks like we are going to have a somewhat unfavorable engagement for our Terran player. He is kind of throwing away supply himself. He's getting his ship upgrades level 2 behind this, so this tells me that maybe we're going to see more and more Vikings, more and more anti-air units, more and more anti-Protoss son of a gun units. And the armored piranhas that are zealots are coming in to clean this up, and it looks like that one hero Stalker just saved the Colossus from the last of the Vikings. Yes, those guys from Normandy that just frolicked during the 1800s, and it looks like these zealots are trying to make a run by it. Just doesn't quite work out. What is this I'm looking at? Looks like Huang Sin kind of misclicked there. Now we have Tempest coming into the mix, but I want to say I need to highlight the danger of using those right now. They do have somewhat high DPS. Yes, they do. And it looks as though there was another... What's the word I'm looking for? There was another drop over here. There's so many, it's just so difficult to keep up with them. But I need to highlight the danger of switching to Tempest at this stage in the game. What we see from our Terran right now is he's continuing to crank out Bio. there's nothing massive, and there's nothing that is coming straight from a starport with a tech lab on it. So I'm thinking perhaps the best he can do is use that the Oracle to like maybe snipe these Vikings one at a time from a safe distance at that, while he kind of lures them into trying killing it. Ooh, beautiful storms at that. Just like, yeah, look at that. It was good. It kind of made our barcode Terran pull back, but it can basically force the Vikings to get pulled into this line of Archons or Stalkers to really deal with that Tempest that's pecking away at it one at a time. These Marauders coming in here, trying to get a good engagement on this drop, but it's just, I want to say it's so close to our Terran main army that he could just pull a small contingent over here to deal with it. He's going to stem up and move something over there, and I think these Marauders and this Medevac are going to go over here for a drop. Yes, they will, and there's nothing here to defend for our Protoss Huang Sin just yet. We have Terran ship weapons level 3 now on the way. Yes, the orange, it looks like, I don't know what to call that, the orange blaster, if you will. Gravitic boosters being researched as well. I believe that is the, oh no, it was the warp, it's not the warp prism speed, it's actually the speed of observers. And now we're actually seeing Huang Sin in a bit of a sticky wicket right now. It's gonna have to take this down, and it looks like these Zealots will be able to clean up this drop, but again, that's a pretty low HP Nexus. If we were to see, you know, just our barcode Terran throw away another medevac at that base, then I'm thinking he could, I think he could take it down. Now, here we are, just 1 or 2 Tempests in the mix, and he's just sniping, that's all he's doing. He's not trying to destroy anything, he's just being annoying with that one and only Tempest, because, again, look at the Viking count. There we go, huge engagement here. The Zealots are darting forward, but the bio is truly being vaporized by all of the Colossi here, and it looks like we had Huang Sin opting for the wrong composition there. Look at that. The Colossi are now being chased down. One more will fall for sure, but what about the future composition? It looks as though he's got steady gas income behind all of this, so he can replenish his Stalker count if he so chose to, but he's going to lose this, I want to say 6 o'clock-ish position base. No, and it looks like he's going to lose this lower left-hand base as well. The big question is, will he be able to defend his 4th or not? He's going to be... This is, I think, the turning point of the game, guys. There's no other way to say it. He loses a lot of probes here. He's losing his bank because he has to remax, and he doesn't have any income to really get himself put back up on his feet. And I think he made an incorrect prediction. He's going Mass Tempest right now. That's not a good idea. Why would you do that? Versus Bio? That's a bad idea. I think it would be a better idea to go for carriers in this position. But nonetheless, we have him going for what he wants to go for. And he's going to have a few observers in the mix. And he's actually revealing his unit composition by doing this. I mean, the answer to this is just really mass Vikings. Vikings are not massive air units. So, yeah, and now we got scans going everywhere because our barcode Terran wants to keep an eye on his opponent. And there's a nuke going down over here. What is this? No, 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 no. Huang Sin, Huang Sin, Huang Sin, Huang Sin, pull back! Pull back! Oh my god, there goes more than half of Huang Sin's army. There it is, the raffle from our Terran. Your army got by that Duke. Okay, well, it looks like our Terran is actually just getting a little bit big in his head. Says, you happy? Well, for the nuke, I'm happy. Law. Okay, well, there's another nuke in the mix right now. I think Huang Sin knows to some extent that this game is over. Like, he basically... I would say the biggest mistake was he didn't throw a lot of observers at his opponent. The answer to this is to just keep on going with the composition that he was going with before. That would be Colossus, High Templar, Archon, and trying to kill it as best he can. Like right now with the Tempest in the mix, they're taking up a good deal of supply, and he actually doesn't have a lot in the way of AoE. But we're going to see him try and hold his ground against this. It's not quite going to work out. The Vikings just taking a single volley to take down these Tempests, as you can see. And the last of the Colossi is now going to fall. There it is, the GG from Hongsin, ladies and gentlemen. I don't understand why he went for the Tempest. There was nothing to indicate that our Barcode Terran was going for battle cruisers, and that's basically the only thing that Tempests are good against, really, from the Terran school of Sky Terran. I mean, I don't understand. Oh well. If you guys liked what you saw here today, just go ahead and click on the subscribe button. This is Breaker. I'll see you guys next time.